Partners of sex addicts, step 3. Now, as a partner, the steps are such an important part. So I want to read the step, and then you and I can spend some time talking through this, okay? Step 3, made a decision to turn our will and lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. Now, making a decision, as we talked about in step 2, there's a process. You're making a decision. Now, this is something that you think about. This is something you take time about. This is something you work on. This isn't something that's done necessarily immediately, although a decision can be done immediately. But when you make a decision, it's something you really kind of take some time through. You know, as a partner of a sex addict, you have lots of decisions to make. You know, do you stay? Do you not stay? Is he in recovery? Am I going to work on my recovery? You know, what about the kids? I mean, you have so many decisions. I know the workbooks and the books help you walk through some of those processes, but you have so many. But step 3 is a big one, because you make a decision to turn our will and our lives. Now let's talk about each one of those, because some of us are pretty willful. Whether you're a partner, you're a person, and all of us have this thing called free will. The free will is what separates us amazing human beings from every other creature that was made. The will is your ability to make decisions. It's the willfulness of I will do this, I will do that, I will do that, okay? Your will is the most powerful thing you possess in time and beyond time. Your will is powerful. Now, as a partner, you've been hurt, traumatized, injured, betrayed, lied to. And your mind and your emotions, and there's so many things going on, but you still have a will. And what step 3 is saying is use this will in a really good way to make this one decision, to make a decision to turn your will and our lives. So now you're turning your will, your choices, okay, and your life, your very self, all of you, over. Now, you've been hurt by a person. You've not been hurt by this God. You've not been hurt by this, okay? Your husband or wife has decided to betray you. They've decided to lie to you. And because they use their free will in a way that hurts you, has nothing to do with God. He cried with you, watched, and was hurt. He loves you. He doesn't want you to go through pain. But as you make a decision to turn your will and your life over, I love the next couple words, to the care. To the care. There's a special word. If you're a mom or a dad, you know what care is. You know when you look at that little soul, you care for them. You're going to protect them. You're going to love them. You're going to try to be there for them. You're going to do what's in their best interest. You care about who they are. This God that we're talking about cares. Cares so much. And all the expressions of faith. God is love. He cares about you specifically. And you're like, well, why didn't He protect me? Because He can't do that and give you free will at the same time. He can't give your husband or wife a free will and then control them. That's not free will. And again, your spouse is the person who betrayed you, or the person you're in a relationship betrayed you, not God who created them. That was not His will, not His way, not His path. And there's no religion that supports damaging a soul the way you've been damaged. Okay? There's lots of commandments that prevent that when they're followed. So please don't be hurt and angry at Him. Don't be angry at God. Okay? Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care, the love, the nurturing of God. Now, God's singular. We already covered that in step 2. God's not a plurality. God's not a group of people. God's not a sponsor. God's not your therapist. God's not those. He is himself, okay? And is a person. Just, I think father is probably the best word. And I never met my father. Okay, I was abandoned by my father. I had a legal father, a stepfather. So I understand you can have a bad experience of what a human father is, but then there's a father that's not human. Okay, that's God. And he's a father who's not human. And he cares about you. Even though you've been betrayed, lied to, stolen from, you might have gotten an STD. You might have all kinds of bad experiences that have happened to you in the past. Those were not his doing. Those were the doing of those free agents. Okay? So as you go to step 3, some of you have more hurdles than others. Some of you have incredible religious training. Okay? And so God is someone you know. God is someone you maybe understand, maybe you don't know. Maybe you read about him, but you're not in a relationship. Okay? Kind of like there's people who read my books, but they don't know Doug. And then there's people who know Doug. Okay? And so in the same way, you might have an understanding, but you don't have a relationship. Maybe it's time to turn your life and will over to have that relationship, to be all in. When you turn your will end or your life, that says you're all in. It's like a marriage. Like, I'm going to marry you, God. I'm in. Okay, whatever you say, yes. What's the question? Yes is the answer. I will follow. I will do what I'm told. I'm trying to trust your voice again. Now, some of you have no religious training whatsoever, and God is a really big thing. That's why you've been working on step 2. But there's where you go from step 2 to step 3. God is real. God is a person. God has authority. That's the difference between a power greater than ourselves and God. God says yes and no. God has a voice, not a vote. God is not American. God is not wanting you to decide if you're going to agree. He knows it's in your best interest to agree. So when I turned my life and will over, I was saying, God, I am not as bright as you. God, I don't know how to do life as good as you could probably help me with. God, I'm going to do it even if I don't agree. I'm going to try, okay? And this is God as we understood him, okay? And I can tell your understanding of him is going to grow. But where you are right now, if you're in step 3, you probably understand enough to know that you're not alone. You understand enough to know that this God cares. I mean, just think about all the millions of women and men who are married to sex addicts. And out of those millions and millions and millions, he reached down and opened this up to you, exposed this for your sake to heal. Because this could have went on for another 10, 15, 20 years. And it hurts for this to be exposed. But to be chosen to heal, to be chosen to be a partner who can do the steps, do the workbooks, have a group, be in a Facebook group, have all that support and heal. Whether you stay in the relationship or not stay in the relationship, you have the opportunity to heal from this trauma, understand this trauma, and begin to believe that you're lovable, to reclaim your own reality again, to believe in your own intuition, to have your strength and resources back. You can walk this out with this God. And you might be mad at him, but he didn't allow it. But what he did do is bring you to this place where you could heal, where you could be accepted by other men and women who are in the same situation, where you could be understood and validated. That it wasn't about you, your body, your sexuality, how much money you made, how clean the house was, or the kids. It has nothing to do with you. Their sex addiction was created way before you ever met them in like 99% of the cases. Okay, you're not a factor in that person being a sex addict, but you are a factor in your own healing. And step 3 says, turn your life over to God is the fastest, probably best way for this to happen, because he's healed millions like you. I know in my own practice, I've seen thousands of women and men who have been partners of sex addict, take these steps, work the workbooks, make their phone calls, do what they need to do to build some community. And like in step 2, we talk about being restored to sanity. They think better again, they're feeling better again, they make better decisions. They're hopeful about life, they're optimistic, they're not blaming themselves. Some of the dysfunction that they've had to create to live in that situation is disappearing from their lives. They're making better decisions. They're healthier physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and sexually. They've grown as part of the healing process. So embrace the process, embrace the steps, embrace this God who cares, and allow him to walk with you. But don't be the leader. Follow, hear, listen, seek, and then walk it out accordingly. And I encourage you, find a spiritual community that agrees with where you are and help them help you. And that's probably gonna be different than your recovery community, and that's fine, okay? Walk this out as God as you understand him. I'm not talking about a religion today. Find your spirituality and then find your tribe that agrees with your spirituality and move forward on this as soon as possible. And if you're following the Partners book, you got lots of questions there to help you through the step workbook, okay? In the Beyond Love workbook, that'll help you with that. Now, if you have yet to subscribe to our channel and you're a partner, oh my gosh, we have so much information for you and for so many of the people that you love, literally hundreds of YouTube videos for you. So please hit the subscribe button. And there's this comment box. If you're a partner and you have a comment that you would like me to respond to, I get to them as soon as I possibly can. I'll respond to each one. And I want to be able to do that with you. And I would also encourage you to please continue to watch all the steps. So if you subscribe, then you get notified, hey, the next step is up. You can watch that and continue to be encouraged. So I hope you're encouraged, and I do hope you watch the rest of these steps.